Last night, we showed you clips of the media going into full freak-out mode over FBI Director Comey's firing. Things haven't calmed down much since then.
It just feels like a coup. You know, first the whole Justice Department everybody got gutted, all of the things got gutted, and it's just, it just feels, and he's got all of the generals, it just feels kind of kooky.
I think the question you also have to ask, was this a coup or a firing, or both?
But here's Rush Limbaugh with a different perspective.
It's not the Saturday Night Massacre, it's not Nixonian, it's none of that. It isn't even close to that. Nixon wasn't doing a coup. Nixon was president. Trump's not doing a coup. He is president. Leaders don't mount coups. Leaders have coups mounted against them, which is what's happening here.
Coups. All right, so Greg, do you think now this Russia conspiracy thing has become the left's birth certificate rabbit hole that they're just going to dive down no matter what happens?
To be fair, every side has that kind of story. We've had them, and the left has them. We will go after, we will say Hillary's got to go to jail. That's our Russian story. So everybody has one. What I like, when I see people on The View get upset, it's like when inmates complain about the food, I tend to like the warden, So it's like, and entertainers right now are in Trump's jail, and which they deserve, because they've had free reign for 8 years. This story is like a giant fiber bran muffin the View is taking with strong coffee, and they just crap out the hysteria.
Do you think that...
I mean, so nuts.
Okay, clean it up. Do you think this whole quest for this Russia thing, is this about ratings? Because right now, the more and more the left and the media beat this drum, the more ratings they get. Or do you think it's all about partisan politics?
Well, I think it's partly that the investigation is taking so long, and it's likely to take a lot longer.
Yeah.
And so what President Trump said today is that and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the deputy press secretary, said that he wanted it to end. And I think that's being taken out of context by some people in the media by saying that he wanted it to end and that firing Comey would get it to end. I don't think that's what President Trump meant, and that's not what she meant. So the overwrought analysis by some, by jumping to a conclusion like that it's a coup, doesn't help the situation. It does make it look hysterical. But there is an investigation. It's ongoing. President Trump himself said he wants to see it completed. And the FBI director, the acting FBI director today, said that there has been no interference, that the investigation has not been impeded, and it will go on apace.
Look at Venezuela. Look at Cuba.
Where's the problem?
You don't have to look at the United States. This is what drives me crazy.
Yeah.
None of these celebrities ever look at what's going on around the world. Instead, they say there's a coup in America.
We have a system, and the system works.
Yeah, wouldn't a coup be if Comey illegally took Trump out? I think that's the definition of a coup. What people
people are historically and confused definitionally about what a coup is. And by the way, another one of the reasons in the report that states that why Comey overstepped bounds and messed up was how about the fact that he slow-walked the records requests about Americans that were being surveilled and unmasked. That is a serious investigation. That's what the lead should be, and all the news agencies should be talking about Americans being surveilled, about privacy rights, and about unmasking. Who ordered it, who was unmasked, and for what reason. That is a grotesque abuse of privacy rights in this country.
If that was so grotesque, it should have ended when Trump got into office. But, the fact that we built a whole segment around Whoopi Goldberg.
I love
Rush
Whoopi.
Limbaugh, who has let's say Rush has stretched the truth on occasion. And the fact that we built a whole segment around these two people. What did this?
Don't forget the
CNN
doing it for 3 days.
Okay,
our fourth day. There's a lot of this.
Well, Rick Van Winkle just woke
Can I ask you a specific question, though?
Where have I been? Hey, would you get out of where have I been, kid?
I missed you. I missed you so much.
You were gleaming your daddy's eye when I was looking at the Watergate situation. So go ahead.
I am younger than you.
God knows that's pretty apparent.
I know. And you can tell by looking in the screen.
I like how you hold him.
Now listen, Bob, I'm going to ask you a specific question.
Yes, sure.
So the left is assuming that there's this big collusion going on between Trump and Russia. But let's start from the beginning. What facts are there, evidence, to show collusion right now at this time?
Well, I think there's two important points that they're looking into.
Facts.
One is
the
the WikiLeaks going to Russia and coming back in the United States.
Okay, so Podesta gave the hackers his email address. That's Trump's fault.
Wait, there's 4,000. There were 4,000 people. Wait a minute. What?
He gave his password to the hacker. How did Trump make Podesta do that?
It wasn't just Podesta they were hacking. I mean,
Podesta's emails were hacked.
No, yeah, his
All
was,
of
but
them.
so were a lot of others.
That was the main component to WikiLeaks.
Leaving that aside, they were hacked, right? And the other thing is that there is now some fairly conclusive
it's not a hack when you hand over the password.
4,000 people were hacking into and sending into Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania fake news out of stuff out of WikiLeaks that they sent out there, and that stuff was being published. Now, if you think for a minute that you don't have some evidence here that there were some people in the Trump operation that were involved with Russia, and if the Trump operation had not been in Russia getting money for their various projects...
Okay, but now this is...
Okay, I haven't heard Kimberly.
No, I don't know. I'm sorry.
News being pumped into the states that were beaten through the blue wall by Donald Trump.
Like, I'm hearing these, like, wild bedtime stories by Bob over here, and they're very fanciful, and, I mean, there's no evidence. No one has come forward to say that there was any kind of collusion whatsoever. You have I haven't heard one factual statement to suggest or support that.
There is
an ongoing
investigation going on.
Right. And what has it produced? What have we heard proffered about
it? It hasn't been finished
yet. So far, nothing. Okay, but so far, what has the report said?
The report hasn't said anything because it hasn't been written yet.
So if the report finds there's no evidence of collusion, are you going to apologize to the American people?
No, I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to say, fine, that's what the result was.
Okay, so you'll accept the results?
Of course.
Okay, we heard it here.
Because